Good morning and namaskar. This is Hawk from Helpful Hawk Healing. Welcome to Satisfying Saturdays. I'm grateful you're here. Going to ask you some questions and give you some answers today. Did you know that trauma hides in the body? Sure does. A lot of people don't realize that our nervous system runs through all of our body, all over. And our trauma hides in there, like little bubbles that are stuck energy. And it's kind of strange to think of it that way, but that's the way it works. And energy flows. And where attention goes, energy flows. But where attention doesn't go, energy stops. So if you've suffered some kind of severe trauma and it got stuck, then you have to put your attention where it is. So emotions are felt in the nervous system. A lot of people don't realize that. They say, well, I have this feeling in my stomach, or I had this cringy feeling, or, different things about feeling. And, excuse me just a moment. And these feelings have to do with our nervous system. See, our thoughts create our feelings, but our feelings also create our thoughts. It's kind of an endless spiral. You start thinking about something and then you get worried, or you get anxious, or you get depressed, or you get happy, you get mad. These things all happen in the nervous system. So what happens when that gets stuck? Now here's the strangest thing ever to me, was that when I was 7 months old, we went to California for my dad to take a class. And we were in a car accident that flipped the car completely upside down. And so I was using a recovery program that goes into the emotions, similar to my abuse recovery method. And the first shift was about the latest ex-girlfriend. I was working on narcissistic abuse and letting go of sociopathy and things. Then the second one was a feeling in my little toe, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to trust the process here. I'm going to trust the process. I don't know what could be hiding in my little toe, but hey, okay. Now, when I went back to that, I experienced the car going upside down. I revisited it. I didn't re-experience it. I re-experienced the feeling that had already been there and always was there, and I was always hiding there. And as a 50-year-old man, what had been hiding there was, am I going to die now? My head was scraped by the gravel in the tarmac. And as a 7-month-old, I had no way of being able to have cognizance to let that go. However, as a 50-year-old man, having stared down the barrel of a gun, having stood on the edge of the cliff or stood on the side of the bridge and not jumped, having been in some very dicey situations, I knew exactly what it felt like to feel like, am I going to die now? So those emotions can be gone back to, and they can be found, and you're still feeling them. You're still experiencing them. It's part of the reason why we call it post-traumatic stress disorder. But you have to go to them, and you have to let them go. You have to free them. And then the energy will flow through you. And that's one thing that my abuse recovery method is all about. And I'm working on perfecting a complete program around it. You can find the introductory module here on YouTube, on my Helpful Hawk Healing channel. So by revisiting these things, we're not re-experiencing them. Our body believes we're still experiencing them. But we can let them go. We can review them and let them go. And it's not difficult. And these things that we hide down in our shadow, these feelings that we don't want to admit to, whether they're, who am I to be so great, or, ooh, I would hate for anybody to know that potential is in me. Well, short little tip here. Any human potential is available in every DNA that has ever, is, or will ever exist. Think about that. Adolf Hitler lives in your DNA. Mahatma Gandhi lives in your DNA. Attila the Hun lives in your DNA. Pope John Paul II lives in your DNA. John Lennon lives in your DNA. The potential for anything lives in your DNA. Excuse me, I've had a rough week, and it's telling on me healthy. So, these potentialities are there, and they can inform our trauma. They can inform those stuck emotions. And those stuck emotions are just going to sit there and fester and fester and fester. I have healed wounds with people. I healed a wound with my father, and the very next day, without prompting, he told me of a situation that happened with his father. I healed a situation with my son, and the very next day he told me of a situation that had happened in his life. I healed a situation with my mother, and she let me know of something that happened in her life. It's amazing how when we heal the stuck trauma in us, others can feel the energy, because everything is energy. So all we have to do is learn how to let it go. So what do? Well, we can replace the belief systems. We can replace any belief system. It takes time, it takes repetition. You can let the trauma go immediately, but what do you fill the space with? Well, you fill the space with love, but what about the beliefs surrounding that belief system that was put in there? Well, I am enough, I love myself, and I am free is a good one. But what about beliefs about anything else? We can replace them. We have to train ourselves how to do it. But we can do it, and we can pull all of those things out. We can let it go. We can release it. My abuse recovery method is one of the most efficient methods I've ever found. And I combined ancient yogic techniques, shamanic techniques, modern techniques to put it all together. I used elements of rapid transformational therapy that I'm certified in, as well as somatic healing that I'm certified in order to let all of it go, to teach everyone how to let it go. If you feel a feeling till it no longer needs to be felt, then it goes away. And all emotions, all feelings are valid. Every single one of them. Doesn't make any difference what it is, it's all valid. There's no good emotions or bad emotions. They're just emotions. Now, we from a human perspective in our body say, hey, we feel bad, or we feel this, or we feel that. But that's us judging the emotion. We don't like to feel angry. We don't like to feel sad. We always want to feel happy. But to be truthful with you, that's kind of unreasonable to expect to feel that all the time. Even the Dalai Lama has a bad day, and he's admitted it. So, just to let you know, I'm working on completing my abuse recovery method as a program. And once I do, I'll make everybody that I can aware of it once it's complete. And it will have a part in there specifically about changing belief systems, encoding into us after we've released the trauma, that we are enough, that we can face these situations, that it's not a problem. And not only that, but changing beliefs about others. Once we drop the judgment of others, it becomes a lot easier. And I'm available for individual sessions. Contact me, helpfulhawkhealing@gmail.com, or in the comments. I am enough. I love myself. I am free. This is an important concept. I am enough means that I am enough. No matter what happens, I am enough. I love myself. People say, well, that's narcissism. Well, no. Narcissus wasn't in love with himself. He was in love with the reflection of himself and the words that Echo was telling him. And he drowned in the watery emotions below the reflection and lost himself. Narcissists are incapable of love, and so they must suck it in like a vampire. I am enough. I love myself. And now I can give it to you. If I have a cup and it's empty and I haven't filled it with water, not only can I not take a drink, but I can't give you a drink either, can I? And I am free. And this symbolizes to me taking those chains, shattering them, being free, removing those heavy emotional chains of my traumatic past, shattering them, destroying them, erasing, eradicating, breaking. There's another thing we can do that helps. It's called mirror work, and I learned this from Lisa Nichols. And that is to look yourself in the eyes in the mirror every morning, probably after you brush your teeth, and say, use your name and say, I'm proud of you for, like, Hawk, I'm proud of you for doing this live every Saturday so that people can learn how to heal themselves. Hawk, I'm proud of you for making a video every day so that people can learn how to heal themselves. And you list 7 things you're proud of yourself for. I don't care if it's washing Granny's car windows 6 years ago. I don't care if it's washing the cat 2 days ago. Name something you're proud of yourself for. It can be little or it can be big. It doesn't make any difference. It's not the size of it. It's a matter of you looking in your eyes and telling yourself how proud of yourself you are. Because you are enough. And then the next step is to use your name, and I forgive you for. Hawk, I forgive you for not healing sooner. Hawk, I forgive you for not doing better sooner. And use 7 things. Now, forgiving doesn't necessarily mean it goes away. But what it does mean is you quit drinking poison and expecting another person to die. And when you're forgiving yourself, that's power. That's giving yourself the power to allow yourself to make mistakes. And realize you don't make mistakes anyway. You only have learning experiences. If you never did something wrong, you'd never learn how to do it right. If you do something right every single time, how boring is that? 1. And number 2, I don't know of anybody who could do that. The last one is, I commit to you. Hawk, I commit to you we're going to keep doing Satisfying Saturdays. Hawk, I commit to you we're going to keep doing daily shorts. Hawk, I commit to you we're going to keep healing. Hawk, I commit to you we're going to keep teaching other people to heal themselves too. And do that for 7 things. And then at the end of that, I personally go ahead, I am enough. I love myself. I am free. Because I am enough. And I do love myself, and I am free. And by giving myself 21 reinforcing statements, and I work to change them up every day. Sometimes I'm proud of myself for changing my underwear. When I first started my gratitude practice, I was grateful for my clean socks and underwear. It doesn't make any difference how small or how big it is. That's our judgment. It is a matter of how our heart is in it. So love yourself enough to never put yourself down. Don Miguel Ruiz wrote a book called The 4 Agreements, and his son Don Jose Ruiz wrote the 5th agreement. And the first agreement is to be impeccable with your word to and about yourself and all others at all times. And this means never putting yourself down. Oh, I'm such an idiot. Oh, I always forget things. Well, first off, you're not an idiot. Second off, as long as you're telling yourself how much you forget things, you're going to keep doing it because the mind learns by repetition. Says, oh, you want to be forgetful? Okay. And third of all, never put yourself down. Now, you don't have to lord it over everybody and say, oh, look how beautiful and great I am. But know that you're enough. You don't have to be the greatest. Muhammad Ali already took that spot. Look what happened to that poor guy. Being the greatest for a while caused him to lose his whole brain. That's a pretty sad way to live out. And I used to participate in a heavy-duty combat sport myself. So just look at it from, what is the truth about me? Am I a loser or am I enough? Because I am enough. I know you are enough. If we weren't enough, we wouldn't even be allowed to be born. We wouldn't be allowed to incarnate on this planet. But I'm not going to get into a spiritual lesson here. One of the most important things we can use is forgiveness, and forgiving others is as powerful as forgiving ourselves. And that doesn't say, you hurt me, but I'm saying it's okay. What I'm saying is, I'm not carrying the weight. I'm not drinking poison and expecting you to die. I'm not carrying this around to poison my body anymore. I'm not carrying this cancer with me anymore. I'm not letting this eat me up anymore. You're not renting space in my head. Let it go. Just let it go. Just like this. Let it go. It's a lot easier to, instead of understanding things, I gotta understand this. Simply oversit it. And allow things to rise up. Meditation isn't about not thinking, it's about allowing things to rise up. It's about allowing things to come up and to observe them and allow them to go away. And one of the things about my abuse recovery method, I call it metanosis, because it's at the theta state, which is there in between a deep meditation and deep hypnosis. Gratitude, which I've already mentioned, that is one of the greatest powers in the world. Somebody says, well, what do I have to be grateful for? Well, you're wearing clothes, aren't you? You have money, don't you? You have a job? Are you living in a house? What's really a pain to me is I look at homeless people every day. There's this one kid at work, and I felt bad, but I had to kick him in the shoe to wake him up. Hey, dude, you can't sleep here. I've got a lot of compassion for the kid. He starved half to death. He's been on the street for 15 years, since he was 14 years old. Imagine how serious his life must have been, that the trauma was so bad he left after 14. And I had to wake him up. You can't be here, man. Not like this. And I didn't want to. But hey, you know what? It's his choice whether he does it. It's his choice of whether he does the meth. It's his choice of whether he sleeps on the sidewalk. It's his choice of whether he sleeps in the cold. It's his choice of what he uses his money for, just the same as me and you. He's still enough. I mean, the kid's surviving. And I call him a kid because he's a 14-year-old trapped in a 30-year-old body. He's still that 14-year-old kid. Genius with bicycles. I'd love to see him get clean and race bicycles. That'd be awesome. But that's his choice. I can only show people the gate. I can't open it for them. The gratitude. He showed me some severe gratitude. I used to work at the gas station, and he would come in, and he specifically made sure the next to the last night that I was there, he got me this little metal almost, but not quite, Swiss Army knife. And he said, Hawk, I want you to know I haven't done meth for 3 days. And I bought this for you. And steal it. And he looked me in the eyes, which he doesn't always do. I bought this for you. I want you to have it. I'll keep it. No matter what happens with me and him, I'll keep it. Because I know he bought it. I felt it. I could feel it in the energy. I bought this. You've touched my life. And I said to him, you know, you haven't done meth for 3 days. He said, yeah, I know. I said, how's it feel? And he said, kind of rough. I said, it feels kind of rough when you're on it, doesn't it? He said, yeah. And I said, well, you'd save a lot of money if you just begged for money for food instead of meth. So now I've gone back to that gas station to work. And what's going on? He's still on meth. That's his choice. It took me a long time to give up alcohol and drugs. It's okay. I understand. Now that those feelings aren't there, now that I've pulled them out and let them go, I looked at them, I felt them till they no longer needed to be felt, I let them go. I feel a lot more comfortable. I don't judge other people as much as I used to. I'm not saying that I'm perfect at it. But I work to not judge other people. Judge not lest you be judged. Well, I don't care if other people judge me. I don't care how other people see me. There was a comment, the very first comment that came up on this thing. Oh, well, I'm not going to respond to it. I don't care. Say whatever you want. Your words can't hurt me. I know who I am. I'm an infinite spiritual being having a temporary human experience, and when my human needs to let stuff go, I work to let it go. And my abuse recovery method, I use it. I meditate twice a day, in the morning and the evening. I apologize. Like I said, this week's been kind of rough and I'm a little under the weather. But I use some form of it every day in my initial meditation. What needs to be felt, what needs to be let go of today. It's simple, it's easy. All I have to do is sit there, let it come out. I can oversit the situation as opposed to understanding it. Now, it does take me back to certain things that have happened, but I know I'm not re-experiencing it. I'm revisiting it. I'm reviewing it. And the feeling that's been sitting there and sitting there and sitting there that I've been feeling the whole time anyway, I just let it go. Because I know that happened when I was 12, or that happened when I was 24, or that happened when I was 38, or that happened when I was 50. And now I'm this age. I'm no longer that person. So why carry that feeling around? Letting it go is the easiest thing in the world. I always talk about how things are simple, they're not easy. Actually, it's a lot easier than we like to think about it, because our human minds, especially once we're adults, want to complicate things. Can't be that easy. Sure it can. Why does it have to be complicated? Why does it have to be complicated? It doesn't. Make it as simple as possible. There's an old saying from the Army, keep it simple, stupid. Well, I'm not stupid, so I just keep it simple. I know I'm not stupid. I mean, good grief, I've got an IQ of almost 200. Does that make me better than anybody else? No. The IQ test was built to determine how retarded people were. So if you got a high IQ score, you're not very retarded. Oh well. So what? That number doesn't mean a damn thing. Now, me learning something and implementing it, such as I've done with my abuse recovery method, yeah, that means something. So, I encourage you to look within your heart and feel what needs to be felt. Because the sooner you do, the sooner you'll be free. And the sooner you're free, the sooner you can move on down the road. Remember that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. And the introduction module to my abuse recovery method is right here on YouTube. You can use it today. Lay back for 30 minutes and just listen. If you want a journal, okay. Let it go. Free yourself. I encourage you to do so. There are some people I know, and I no longer feel sorry for them, but there are some people I know that won't let things go. They hold on to those little vengeances like gold coins. Well, that's their business. That's not mine. I'm no longer involved with that. I've let it go as much as possible. I have a bunch of compassion for them, but that's their deal. So, remember, I love myself. I am enough. I am free. Thank you for joining me, and have a satisfying Saturday, and remember, I love you.